Alright, here's one repair that I'm doing for customer, and as you can see, it's going to be a bit of work. The chassis is cracked all the way across here, and it's cracked across here. So I'm going to do the cap kit and everything else on it as well, but what I'm going to have to do, oh, and it's also cracked up here from across here and down across these, etc., and down in here. So I'm going to have to look around and make sure I get everything, or at least try to get everything, and then fire it up and see what happens. But we're going to give this a whirl. So what I'm going to have to do first, though, I'm going to have to take this flyback off. It is absolutely too heavy to be doing anything with this. I can't hold it in place or bridge it up or anything like that. It's just too heavy, and it's making things worse. So I'm going to have to take off the flyback and maybe 1 or 2, 3 other parts to keep anything from stretching or pushing away, and try to get these all glued up. I'll probably do most of that from the top side, and then after it sets a little while, I'm going to have to start going through and removing parts and start scraping the traces where I need to scrape them, so I can do some bridging and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens here. Sanyo is getting harder to find, so we need to save all we can. Alright, so I got it all kind of cleaned up and got some glue on it on this side here. Now I haven't done anything over here yet. That'll have to wait due to the fact this takes about 24 hours to cure. So no real way to clamp this. So basically what I did was I started back in this corner and put a drywall screw in the bench, and then I came over to this corner and put a drywall screw in the bench. That way it gave me something to push on, but not clamp to where it pulls and then makes the things flex up. And then I took and pushed this piece against the chassis where I needed it to and held it in place, took my drill, drilled it, and then put a drywall screw here, and then the same thing over here. Pushed this piece here, drilled the drywall screw where I need it to be, pushed it in, and put the screw in. So right now, I mean, I can't move it, of course, so I'll have to let it set, but put a little more glue along it just to make sure I had good coverage. So I'm going to let it cure and see where it goes, and after that we'll work on that side depending on what's needed. But for now, let's get this one up and going. Alright, so it's been setting for about 14 hours, give or take. So let's take and remove the screws here and turn it over and see how we did, because you can't see it from this side. All I'm doing is trying to line it up exactly so it all fits together. So hopefully it will be pretty good on the bottom. That is the plan with it anyway. That's it. Nope, one more. Can't see through the viewfinder here. Alright. So let's easy turn it over and see how we did. Alright. Not too bad. Got a little bit of glue that came through, but that's okay. We'll use our microsheen and put a little bit in it and go ahead and sand all that away, what we need to sand away. That way it's kind of nice, because what will happen is in the places I don't need to get to the traces, it will have a little bit of adheration to the substrate slash the PCB, which is the substrate. So there we go. Looks pretty good. Now over here we haven't done anything. I may not do much. I might put a little bit of glue on it after the fact, just to reinforce it. But this isn't cracked like so bad like over here where it was completely apart. So I'll make sure I'll go through every one of these traces all along here where the split is, and make sure I get everything, and then I'll look around and see what else I can get if it needs work, and go from there. So alright, well, I think it's time to go through, and it looks like it's already had a cap kit in the past, so it's already got some good Nichicons and stuff on it. So I'll go ahead and clean this up. Like this one here is hovering too much, I'll make sure it goes down, and same thing with some of these others. Got to replace the B+ pot and do a handful of things. But for the most part it looks pretty good. I'll have to put this resistor back, but I already knew that going in. So I had to take it loose because the legs are bent a little bit, and it's also flopping. So I'll take it loose, straighten everything up so it goes back down there like it's supposed to and doesn't put any strain or stress on our glued parts. But other than that, looks pretty good. I'll change the filter cap. That hasn't been done, so that'll get changed. And I'll go through and just check out and see what I can find. Go from there. But all in all, right now, so far, successful. So we'll see when we actually see an image. Okay, well, I couldn't stop or help myself. I had to do something. It looked like crap. But anyway, so what I did was I took away the bridge support that was already here, here, and here. I left these alone for now. They're not too bad. I'll go over and make them a little better in the future. But now you can see how it lays nice and flat in through here, and it's not all cracked or bubbled up. So it's not going to be perfectly flat ever, but I'll go ahead and do what I did on the other part, and I'll go through here and I'll go ahead and bridge all this stuff first, and then I'll turn it over and put glue on the top side, so that way after it's bridged the glue will just naturally set, and that'll make it look nice and keep it good, hopefully good and solid for the rest of its working days. So, but now I think it looks much better, and it's the way it should have been, you know, back when it was first prepared. So now let's get to work. Still got to do all the bridging and everything down here. So, but anyway, just wanted to give a little update. This looks a lot better now, and I think it'll do a lot better when I go to glue it. Alright, so now what I've done is I've gone through and I have desoldered and pulled all the parts that are in the glue line. So this one had to go, these two parts here had to go, let's see, this part here had to go, these couple parts here had to go, and this one had to go, and these had to go here. So that way what it's going to do is now I can actually get in there with the tool, with the microsheen. Got a little polishing bit here. Might have to put a smaller one in on some of the small delicate places, but now I can actually grind away the solder mask and the little bit of glue that I need to get rid of on the traces, so that way I can apply new fresh solder across them and bridging wire or cap leads, etc. So that's what I use primarily, is cap leads. But now I can actually go through and clean up all of the traces along that need to be done. Same thing over here. There wasn't much glue over here, but I still need to take away a little bit of solder in a couple places here to prep it. But that's where we're at now, so I'm going to continue to do that. I've already pulled the solder off of up here, so that way I can get the tool in there and get the mask off and be able to start bridging traces. So let's get back to it. Alright, well, we're pretty well done with it. I have not fired it up yet, but this is what it looks like on this side. We do a whole bunch of patching, whole bunch of patching, and then over this way I had to do a little bit of patching around the area, the two TR402 and TR403, a little bit of patching around there, and then over here we went ahead and did a better patch job over here, making everything pretty strong. So fingers crossed, I've gone over it, and I'm hoping it's going to fire right up. Will it? Oh, I don't know. Fix some of the cap kit, change the filter cap, put a new P Plus pot in, and we're gonna take a gander. Did the reflow on it, look for anything else I could find, and didn't see anything that obviously stuck out. R473 was the wrong value, so I put a new resistor in there and used the leads to help make new traces around to get to where they need to go, help beef them up a little bit, create a little bit of strength. So fingers crossed it's going to fire back up. And on the top side here, I'll be easy with it. I went ahead and put the flyback in, of course, and I remounted the focus tower. Originally it was screwed in so it's facing up here, which you can still put back in if he likes. But what I did was I did the drilling like I normally do and fixed the focus tower this way, so that way you can still put the cage back on facing up, but it's easier to cut out a little bit of a place in the cage this way for these knobs to stick out, so you can adjust them, or you can just, well, you can't put the cage on unless you cut holes out, so you can cut some small holes just big enough, or you can cut a big rectangular area, whichever way you want to do it. So everything's back on, pretty slick at my fingers here, and we'll hook it up, fire it up, see what happens. Odds are going to have to adjust the B+, but that's normal. So I think I've gotten everything all back together, and we will see what happens. Alright, well, welcome back. It is all over and ready to go. This is 19-inch Sanyo for Brad S. This is the one that I've been working on. And here we go. Trace repair. Need a lot of traces repaired. You saw the crack in the beginning of the video. Needed R473, IC601, a new focus tower, well, used focus tower, VR255, video header, and VR301. Fired it up, and it looks fantastic. All controls work as they should, so everything will have to be readjusted when it gets back home. But as you can see, after all that work, it looks fantastic. So, it's already run through its burn-in test period, so I'll get it packed up and ready to ship out. Ignore the color difference on the right-hand side. That's from the tube and the yoke alignment, not the chassis. It also needs a degauss. So, it all works fine. Everything's good to go. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them at the bottom of this video, or shoot me an email at thearcadebuffet@gmail.com, or visit my site, thearcadebuffet.com. Thanks, and see you soon.